Hello and welcome back. Today I'm joined with the amazing Danielle. Danielle, do you want to tell everyone who you are and where you're from?
So I'm Danielle and I am from Yorkshire. It's a little village up near Haworth. And yeah, she was just really cold and typical high up village where we get all the snow and we get snowed in. But I am so my background is a psychotherapist. I work very blended. I've done like loads of work with women, but I come from a family of mediums. So I am a psychic medium and a shamanic practitioner. And so I just blend all my skill set and do lots of different things, really. A bit of a mixed bag.
Brilliant. Fantastic. How exciting. Oh. So Danielle, you've managed to really own who you are and what you do by bringing in the psychic guidance. And I know how I work, and that is when I'm with a client, I can just see where they are to be able to ask them the right
Mhm.
questions to help them lead to where they're going, which is, I have to admit, quite an asset to have as a gift.
Yeah.
But what was it for you that enabled you to bridge the gap between just stereotypical psychotherapy and being able to bring in your gifts?
Honestly, do you know what I think it was? So I came from a really spiritual family. I'd seen spirit since I was like really young, a little girl. So the spiritual side was dead normal. It's really normal for me to see your loved ones when they pass over and to be able to read your soul imprint and get really deep. And my grandma was a medium, her mum was a medium, my older children can do it. So the spiritual side was dead normal, but it was something that I just didn't want to accept. So the path that I ended up going down, even though I was part of the spiritual church world and things like that as a child, I went into nursing and I went into psychotherapy, being a bit of a people pleaser and fixer. And I didn't really want to accept that side. And I think it wasn't until I was about 36, my dad died. I had a private practice in a spiritual centre, but never still did the spiritual things apart from, readings for family and friends, and didn't really want to do it as a work, a career. I think it was when I was ready to accept my own journey and go down my own healing. And I think that's really important. I think you've got to be able to own who you are. And I think the gifts that I had, I don't think that I was in the right space for them, in the right timeline of my older children that were younger children at that point, and the marriage and things like that. I think I had to get a lot of experiences. And when I fully accepted the spiritual side, where I was like, actually I will open my gift up more, and I started to channel the shamanic things and it got deeper. I think I had to be at a space where I'm ready. And that's how I think I could bridge the gap of both. And it was really strange because there's been a lot of circumstances where all that psychotherapy background has been so invaluable, because I know that I can safely hold space with people. I know that I can kind of assess where the mental health's at and look at the spiritual side and look at, you know, what is safe to do and what is boundaried work and things like that as well. So I think it was really important. But I think I had to be that age. I had to be my mid 30s, and I had to be a certain space where I'd healed my own self. Um, I feel like it's been a very fated journey how I've gone on to things, really.
Yeah, I
That
hear that.
makes sense.
I hear that so much. And because I was very similar in I wouldn't acknowledge it kind of thing. Like
Mm.
I've always been drawn to it. It was a very strong connection to Reiki, alternatives. Like I never believed fully in everything that people were telling me. I always had like this lack of trust in people. And I'd be like, but that doesn't feel right. Something's not right there. There's got to be something else. And as I moved and grew through it, I accepted the word intuitive. It's like, yeah, I am
Mm.
intuitive, and I do connect, and I can kind of pick up. And it was like, okay, you're masking. Using the word intuitive does not do you and your gifts any justice whatsoever. So it took me a little while to kind of embrace that part of me as well, because it doesn't feel safe, does it, in this society, to go, oh, by the way, I do this, because it's not fully accepted yet. And that's what we're here to do with the Business Ascension Symposium and Awards. It's about allowing that spiritual connection to be more accepted in the day-to-day world as well as in business. So, Danielle, you've chosen to be one of our sponsors for the event. What was it that inspired you to be an award category sponsor?
I think because, and it's not just about women, but I've done so much work with women in, like I talked about my NHS work, the spiritual work. And the biggest thing that I do now, even when I work with women one-to-one, it's getting them to link back to their own intuition, getting them to be their own inner compass and actually step onto the soul path and trust. And like, when people come for readings and like, oh, like, and I always have return clients, you told me this and this, and I'm like, but you've got that in yourself, you've got that ability. So when I see women who have got so many gifts and they're like, I can't do that, or I can't share this, or imposter syndrome, which I've struggled with, and all them kind of things, I love to see people change their life, and I love to see them step onto the soul path. And and I am, obviously I'm a woman, so I'm very big on supporting other women. But I think that, and I can say this, that tracking my journey back, there's always been different women showing up for me, men as well. But there's been some really strong and really important people who've just been that torchbearer and said, actually, you can do this, or they've lit the path and they've enabled me to step into my soul purpose. So when I saw the sponsor category, I was like, actually, how nice would it be to sponsor a category that celebrates other women who are truly shining, whether they've just stepped onto this path of like working spiritually, or they've done it for, X amount of years. I thought it was really important to celebrate other women and to say you've got a safe space to do this, and actually like show the world what you're made of.
Yeah, interesting, because the event isn't just for women.
Mm,
Um, it's the spiritual entrepreneur. So we don't actually bring gender into it, but it's interesting how people can perceive that it is just
yeah.
gender of female. And it's like there is so much more to the spiritual journey than just female. But I love the female empowerment. I love the male empowerment side of things. And there are spaces where we really need that feminine safety space. And there are
Mm.
times when the men need it as well. But I really believe that as a unity, it's time for us to all come together as well.
Yeah, completely. And I work with a lot of men one-to-one coaching as well, who are actually like, I can't tell anybody that, I do this or I believe this. And like some people who are really have got really diverse careers, and they're like businessmen and things like that. I'm working with somebody at the minute, and it's dead important in it. But I think I'm always out for men and women. But I think with women, I think I just affiliate with it because I've been on my journey as a woman. So I'm like, actually, I want people to feel like they can be seen and it's safe as well.
Absolutely. And I do hear you 110%.
Mm.
I just didn't want anyone listening back going, oh, is it only women? No, it's not. We're just going
Yeah,
to
it's
iron
just
it out
women. Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Okay. We are not gender specific. We are very open to accepting humans as they are. That's
yeah.
it. So Danielle, you have become one of the sponsors. You are stepping in to enjoy this moment with us, but I do believe you were also nominated. What did it feel like for you to receive a nomination for the UK's first Spiritual Entrepreneur Awards?
Do you know, it was dead exciting because I didn't think that I would be. And I know loads of other women who were nominated, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And like, make sure you go. And when I got mine, I was really gobsmacked. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Who's done this for me? And like, so grateful. Because there's nothing really, and you don't really get awards, see, for doing spiritual work as such. Your award is, see the change and seeing the ripple effect out. But it is nice to be recognised in an award because it's not a norm, is it, that we get? So initially I was just like, I was quite blown away, to be honest. I was really grateful. Like, I don't know which one of my clients has done it, but I'm dead grateful.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I've heard quite a few people along the way. I mean, one lady reached out to me and said, you know, in the 30 years that she's been doing this work, she's never been recognized for it. And that was one of the pivotal moments for me. This was just all those months ago when we started the nominations. Like, oh wow, this is so needed. I knew it was needed, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize how much this was needed for us to be accepted and seen and recognized for the work that we do here as spiritual entrepreneurs. So what would you say to someone who was considering maybe being a part of this in the upcoming event or maybe in the future? And if they were a little bit hesitant, what would you say?
It's funny actually because one of my clients had been sponsored and she made the finals and she was so hesitant, and I said to her, just sit with it a little bit. And she said, it's not me. And I said, but what's not you? What, you know, like we've got to think about what are we becoming and like showcasing as gifts. And she said, it just doesn't feel normal. And I was like, just sit with it a little bit. And a little bit of it where I said, right, this is imposter syndrome, like it's coming through, it's dead normal, we all get it. And I said, but you know, in an ideal world, would you want to be there? And she said, I did. And so I would just say, step out of your comfort zone. I think that's it sometimes. And I think I recognised also when I first got the email, I was like, oh, like, do I mean I've got to speak on stage? I've got to do this because I'm not very comfortable doing those things. And I think for some people getting a sponsor, initially it might push them out of the comfort zone, but it's important because you've got to be able to really walk your talk when you're doing spiritual work. And I think stepping up there and just putting yourself into something new and going to the awards might feel dead unfamiliar because it's not a norm for us, but actually it's opening the doors for people to see that actually we can celebrate each other, and then hopefully again it has that ripple effect out that people see it and think, oh, actually, you know, people are doing something amazing, and it might open people up more to seeing the other side of things and tapping into their own intuition, or being like almost like, I think a little bit what is the word? It's, you know, just being a little bit inquisitive about spiritual things. It might have a bigger ripple effect than you just going to an award and getting an award and going, you know, this is amazing, I've got this award. It's more about what it means behind it and what it pushes out to. So I would say, you know, if you get nominated or you feel like you want to nominate anybody else, just get on board and do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Danielle. It's been lovely to hear from you and share your journey a little bit as well. And I find it really intriguing, especially in the world of spiritual entrepreneurship, because most of us are too humble to shout, you know, to blow our own trumpets, or
Yeah.
because it's seen as egotistical, or it's seen as, you know, not the done thing. And actually, if we're not cheering ourselves on, then what's the point? Because we're not showing up and doing what we do for the sake of it. We're doing it for other people. What we do is to help and serve others. What you do is to constantly serve others and bring them back to a space of safety and wholeness and connection and truth. And that is priceless in terms of human growth and development as you go through life. And I don't know about yourself, but I've often sat with the I'm not really a materialistic person. Um, I would much rather have memories and experiences and be with the right people than spend my life building a vision that somebody else holds that claims
Mm.
success. And I know a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs share that view. Um, so thank you, is what I was trying to say. Thank you for sharing with me.
Oh, you're welcome. No, I agree with you. I'm exactly the same. I think things don't give you memories, and things can be materialistic. And I think out of, you know, and I always say this to people when I were a therapist, you'd have millions of people sat in front of you, and on paper, you know, it looks like they've got it all, but actually inside they've got nothing. They've not got the connection to themselves, they've not got connection to other things and meaningful things. And I absolutely just agree with like what you're saying, like, you know, we do this work because we love doing this work, but we have to be able to step into celebrating us, because the world never will if we don't, and if we don't push the movement. And as everything's changing, the times and the energies of the earth are changing, we've got to be able to step up. And it's really uncomfortable. I honestly thought my initial feeling were a little bit of fear when I got that email as well, because I thought, oh God, what if I've got to get up, and what if I've got to talk, and you know, what's everybody going to be wearing, and you know, how amazing is everybody going to be else, can I fit in there? So you get that initial imposter syndrome, don't you, a little bit? And I think that most of us are dead humble. because you've got to be, but the ego has got to serve us in a sense, and it's got to push us out of our comfort zone, I think, sometimes. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree. And this is a big comfort zone thing. And I think it's a big comfort zone for everybody. And you know, as I was tapping into the energies of it, there were some people that were just afraid of being seen in this arena, which I thought was a really interesting dynamic because we've evolved so much in society, but yet we're still in that era of it's not safe to be seen, it's not safe to be heard, and it's definitely not safe to be paid for some as well, which I thought is quite interesting and something that, you know, we're working to change. And change doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come without feeling that fear and moving beyond it. So thank you so much for joining me, Danielle. For those that are listening in to this interview today, where would they find you?
So they can find me. I've got my Facebook page, which is Golden Wolfwing. That I know it's not a very commercial name. It's literally a name that we're gifted on initiation by shamans when I'd worked with them at the end of my kind of teachings. And there's my website, which is www.goldenwolfwing.co.uk. The pages are not always like, I'm not constantly active on social media, I have to say, but there's my website and it'll have my email address in there as well. So I'm quite reachable.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So go and check Danielle out on, is it Golden or Gold Wolfwing?
Golden Wolfwing.
Golden Wolfwing. So go
Yeah.
and check her out, go find her, go and connect with her, go and see what magic that she's got to share with you, because you never know. One thing that someone can say can completely change your life. And Danielle definitely seems like one of those amazing souls on this journey and path with us. So thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are intrigued about the event and you want to be a part of it, definitely go and click one of the links around the video, or just visit vickichisholm.com/business ascension. And we'll see you there.